Welcome to the Goddess Show podcast, voices of visionary women, inspiring female leaders by interviewing amazing guests to encourage us all to rise up. Enjoy. Hello and welcome to the Goddess Show, voices of visionary women, inspiring female leaders, and we've got the most amazing guest today. Her name is Scarlett Dee, and let me tell you a little bit about her before we introduce. Welcome, Scarlett. Welcome to the show.
Hi. Hi, Tula. So great to be here. Thank you.
And look at that beautiful background she's in. She's actually in the Austrian Alps. So just transport yourselves there and imagine how beautifully divine that is. And now I'll just tell you a little bit about Scarlett, because Scarlett, you're a transformational guide, a breathwork teacher, and sober empowerment mentor, helping women 40 plus break outdated patterns. We know about patterns, don't we? Reconnect with your inner self, inner voice, in full alignment. And after 30 years of guiding others through yoga, retreats, and deep healing work, you now focus on self-trust, nervous system regulation, which is so important, powerful lifestyle upgrades. It sounds absolutely fantastic. So for our listeners and viewers, our theme today, which I think a lot of you actually might relate to, is from lost to limitless. Changing, sorry, choosing, not changing, choosing sobriety and reclaiming your power. Isn't that amazing? So without further ado, let's launch into your interview questions, Scarlett. And
Thank you.
first up, what I'd like to ask you is to share a little about your own personal story. For instance, what inspired your decision to quit alcohol for good?
Yes, and that is the key word, for good. Because I've been one of these people that are maybe drinking alcohol for a time and then not drinking alcohol for a time. Especially in the West, I drink alcohol. And I spend a lot of time in the East where it's like normal not to drink alcohol. So I don't drink alcohol. So I had this kind of pendulum situation where I'm drinking, not drinking, drinking, not drinking. And when I'm drinking, it's not like I want to drink all the time. It's just, it's there all the time. It's so normalized in our society, and it's a habit. And it's a habit that from the inside, I would be questioning. I'm like, why am I drinking? Or waking up with a hangover and thinking, oh my God, I don't want to be like this. It's just, why am I doing this? And it was just this thing of betraying myself almost. It's like there's a voice inside me trying to say, trying to guide me all the time, guiding me to do better for myself, to be better, to grow more. And then I'm sabotaging myself with alcohol, and it is sabotage. And, the science is out.
Yes,
Alcohol is a poison. It's a
it
poison to
is.
our body.
It is.
And we are the goddess. We
Yes,
have to
we
treat our
are.
body like a temple.
Absolutely.
And I am so on it in so many ways. I got to the I'm done stage with tobacco a long, long time ago. It was just one day I woke up it was 17 years ago, and I woke up and I said, you know what? I'm not smoking anymore. I'm done. And I didn't touch a cigarette ever again.
Well
And
done.
then it happened last year, the I'm done moment with the alcohol. I overdid it one night. I went to a wine tasting, too much wine. Really, I left the wine place and I just walked home. I just thought, I can't stand it anymore. My head was spinning. I was
Oh,
really like,
wow. That's really uncomfortable, isn't it?
it was so uncomfortable. And I woke up in the morning and I wasn't just hungover. I felt poisoned. I was sick all
Oh,
day.
oh, it's
And
horrible feeling.
so that was kind of like, okay, that's kind of rock bottom for me. It was alcohol's not a problem in my life, but that was a problem. So I
Yeah,
said,
yeah.
I'm done. And it felt so good. It felt so good to make that ultimate decision that I am not going to drink again, ever again. And now when, there's alcohol around and people are offering me alcohol, every time I say, no, I'm not drinking, I feel even more empowered. And it's
Yeah, it's
like,
great,
I'm
isn't
so
it?
on this. That's it. And I'm
Yeah.
so pure with my body because, I do have a good diet. I'm not smoking, all these other things. Alcohol was the last thing to go.
Fantastic. Congratulations. I think that's so inspiring for so many of our listeners and viewers because, as you say, drinking is a culture and it's everywhere in the Western world. But what I would really love to hear, and I think what our listeners and viewers would like to hear, is a bit about your background, because there are certain things, these patterns are created earlier on in life. So, whatever you feel comfortable sharing, tell us a little bit about your own personal story.
Well, okay, so as a young child, I think I was around alcohol a lot. I think most of the adults drank. And I'm from a family of six children.
Wow.
And my dad would have a beer in the evening and he would have whiskey as well. Not every evening, but he would like his whiskey. And as kids, we'd always be, can I have a bit of whiskey? Can I have a bit of whiskey? And he would give us a little
Oh,
capful, the
really?
top.
Wow.
He would give us a little sip of whiskey. And so it was normal for us to kind of drink. We weren't drinking a lot of drink. We were just having these little bits here and there when we would beg our father for a little bit of whiskey because he was having it, or a little bit of sip of beer. And so it wasn't like, it was in our life. And
Mm,
then when I got to the age of about 15 or 16, I'm from England. We
yeah,
have a drinking culture in
I
England.
can tell
We
by
go
your accent.
we go out and get sloshed every weekend. That's what people do in England,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know. And so by the age of 15, I was going to school, but then I was going out into the pub. Friday and Saturday nights, I'd be in the pub drinking. Not always to extend, but I would be a drinker. And then by the age of 20, I started to go traveling. And that's when I stopped drinking. I was in Asian countries. I was doing yoga, going to temples, going to meditation,
Oh, that
living
sounds
on the beach,
amazing.
living the good life. And sometimes drinking, because, you go to the full moon party in Koh Phangan in Thailand or
Oh, yes,
something.
we've heard
Of
about
course,
that.
you're drinking there. But I was also traveling around on a bicycle. So, like 30 years ago, I was traveling around Thailand,
Oh,
Malaysia,
it sounds
India.
amazing.
Yeah. And so I was quite healthy. I was living quite healthily. And so alcohol was in my life then as well. And then, of course, I was saying to you before we started, I have this kind of pendulum thing where I'm drinking in the West and not drinking in the East.
Isn't there
And
a saying, when in Rome? That's
yes,
when in
exactly.
Rome.
Exactly. We are so impressionable as well. And, I'm quite easygoing. And, I do use that term a lot when in Rome. Whatever's going on, I'm into it. But actually, I don't want to be into the alcohol anymore. And it's taken me a long time to actually start to listen to that inner voice inside of me, to the extent where it's just like, that's the last thing to go.
Well, that's fantastic because you had the strength and the courage to stop smoking when you decided to and stop drinking when you decided to. So that tells me the importance of decision making. Make a decision. And it's so powerful to make a very conscious, strong decision, isn't it?
Absolutely. I think making that being conscious and making the
Yes,
decision is
yes,
very, very important. And the thing is, willpower isn't always enough.
yes.
So I've actually been strengthening my muscle of willpower for a long time with yoga and tantra and all the things that I do. But if you are, not doing those sort of things all the time and haven't been working on your willpower all the time, sometimes it's not enough to just sort of say, okay, I'm not going to do it again. Because
Well, that's
actually,
true. That's absolutely
if
true.
you look, yeah, if you look at your own history and my history too, I would say to myself, okay, I'm not going to drink again. But it wasn't really like, okay, that conscious decision. I am not going to drink again. That's it. Final, finito. And so, yeah, making that complete conscious decision is important. But I think also to find those supports in your life, and
Yes.
it might mean a redesign of your lifestyle. It might mean doing some breath work. It might mean starting a new hobby. It's finding a way where you can stay on that path that you've decided.
Yes, and I think there's another really important message there, and that is you don't have to do it alone.
Yes. Oh my God. I think community is key. And
Yes.
it's really funny because every year I seem to have this little tiny catchphrase in my ear. And last year, the catchphrase was, together we are stronger.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so
And just,
let me ask you something. Given that, tell us about your business. What motivated you to start and why you're passionate about it?
okay. So for many years, I've been teaching yoga and tantra. I've been running spiritual retreats and trainings in different places all around the world. And one of the things that I know has got a lot of power, I've seen it just transform people's lives, and it's so accessible to us, is the breath. I am so into breath work. Pranayama is something that I've been teaching for many, many years, but it's quite complicated. If you, when people come to my trainings, they do a pranayama practice, they learn loads of techniques, but it's quite complicated to go away and continue a practice. So
Yeah,
many people don't. So many people don't take on that practice. But actual transformational breath work is so, so simple.
it
It's
is.
just something that you lie down, you do the technique, and things happen inside your body. So that's why I'm so into breath work. And I really wanted to spread it more and more for people to have this in their lives, because I've seen the way people have gone through trauma using breath work.
Yes.
They've like became much more empowered. They've increased their confidence, their clarity. Everything changes when you start doing regular breathwork practice, transformational practices. So I decided that actually, for me, especially with the sobriety, I feel more empowered when I do my practice, when I do breathwork practices. So I wanted to give that to women who want to make those choices. And sobriety, I feel, is not just about giving up their alcohol. It's like a whole sobriety
A
thing in your
lifestyle,
lifestyle.
isn't it? It's a
So it's
life choice.
all those things that will help you feel more pure, more treating your body like the temple it is, because we are the goddess and we need to
Yeah.
treat our
And
body
it's all
as a
about
temple.
self-love, isn't it? It's loving ourselves. And I think that,
Self-love.
when
And
you mention about breathing, I think from my experience, and you're a yogi, you're a yoga teacher, so it has been that yoga is great for breathing because every movement is a breath, isn't it? And
absolutely.
I absolutely believe that your life is as good as your breathing. I totally believe that. It's so
That's what the
important,
yogis say as
so
well.
important.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Because, when we are stressed, when we are anxious, our breathing gets very, very shallow.
Mm.
So not only is, the way we breathe affecting like our physiology, but it's actually something that we can look at to tune in to where we're at. If we start to tuning, if our breath is slow and relaxed, then we probably are slow and relaxed, you
Yes.
know. So it's actually an indicator of what's going on inside of us.
Yes, exactly. Yes, absolutely. So tell me then, what were the first few steps you took to get this business up and running?
Okay. I find nowadays the world is really flooded and there's a lot of noise in the world. And actually, for me, creating a program and holding space for people to go through transformation is super easy. Yeah.
Okay, that's
But
great.
actually, getting it out there is like, it's become more and more difficult. And actually, this is why I made the switch from offering retreats and trainings to actually going into coaching, because I thought, okay, there's a million retreats and trainings coming out every year, and it's getting more and more difficult to get the students there. The last training I did was full, but I found it a hard slog to get people to my training. So I thought, okay, what else? I need to pivot. I need to do something where I'm actually enjoying being up in the mountains in Austria as well and not traveling so much, thinking about the environment as well. So I'm thinking, okay, what can I do online? And how am I gonna make it through the noise? So I actually went through a coaching program of 3 months, and they helped me build my website and they helped me create the irresistible offer. But I kind of had that already. I knew what I wanted to offer. I know what I can offer, and I know what space I can hold for women. And actually, the main focus for me is to have that community where we're all
Yeah.
coming together and working together. And I'm missing community because I am quite alone up here in the mountains in Austria. And now I'm not going to retreats and trainings all the time. That was my community time, being out in Asia. In
Right,
Austria,
right.
I'm in my little bubble.
Okay. Well, that's
So
really
I'm looking for my own community. I'm looking to gather people together that really want to do the work and want
yes.
to inspire and support and connect.
Well, hopefully you will have your own in-person community in the Alps sometime soon. But I think
Yes.
community is really, you're right, it's really important. And working online is something that can be a little bit isolating sometimes. So I completely agree with that. But I think you've given our listeners and viewers an insight into, how you started, which is really important. Thank you so much. So, um, my next question was actually, what have been your biggest challenges so far? And I think you kind of covered that, didn't you? Because
Yeah.
you started live and then you went online, so you had to. But is there anything else you'd like to add to that?
Well, I mean, I still want to do in-person retreats and trainings because that's what I love so much. Actually, I had a retreat here just a few months ago, and it's beautiful when everybody's in the same space, and it's not just like what happens inside the studio. It's what happens when you're walking with somebody, or you're going to the lake, or you're sitting down having dinner, and it's all these interactions that really support that process of transformation that we're going through on a retreat. So I really miss that. So my challenge still is the noise out there and getting seen, because I feel quite grounded in who I am and what I want to offer, and the people that I want to attract into my life. But I think especially with COVID, so many people switched into the spiritual and the health world, which is great because that's what everybody needs.
Mm.
But it obviously makes it much more difficult for us all to be seen and heard. So
It's
that's
so
that's just a
true.
challenge I think we're all going through.
Yes, I think COVID really did change. It changed our work culture. Like a lot more people are choosing to work online now or work from home most of the time.
Yeah.
It changed a lot of things. I know from my perspective and the company I run, Empowering Women, I started off doing live events and workshops as well, and that stopped through COVID. And I likewise took my business online. So we
Mm.
have that in common, and I think that that's a reality for a lot of people, and I think it's really good to talk about as well. Because the thing is, too, that we can create online communities as well. I mean, it's not the same thing, it's not an in-person thing, but at least it's something, even us talking right now is fun, it's like,
Yeah, absolutely. So that is my ultimate goal, to have a online community where we are all working together and interacting, and then have the in-person retreats and the
yes,
trainings that people can come to.
the best of both worlds. That sounds really good.
Yeah.
So tell me, how do you keep motivated through difficult times?
Oh, discipline. You know, I I'm a person who goes in extremes. I think discipline and balance, that's what I would like to say, because I have this tendency to like go all or nothing, all or nothing. And actually now, as I'm getting older, I really want to have that balance and not be swinging so much.
Hmm.
So, there was times in my life when I would wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and do a 3 hour yoga practice. And then there's other times in my life when I wasn't able to bring myself to my yoga practice. Things were happening or I was too busy or whatever, and I would like neglect my practice, which is a big mistake. So, non-negotiables. You need your non-negotiables in your life. You need to say, okay, every day I'm going to do this and make it realistic. Don't say every day I'm going to walk up a mountain. It doesn't,
I think
you know,
that's really, really good advice. The
yeah.
non-negotiable. For instance, would you
Make it
say one of those
realistic. Make it like 10
non-negotiables?
minutes.
Sorry?
Make it realistic. Make it like a 10-minute thing that you do every
Yeah,
day for yourself.
yeah. So it's not
Yeah,
overwhelming. So would you say one of your
absolutely.
non-negotiables might be yoga?
Hmm. Yeah. And again, making it realistic. Not that I'm going to do an hour and a half practice every day, but having something every day keeps you on track. Yeah.
Fantastic. That's
And
really good advice. Thank you so much for that. So next up, what I'm going to ask you is, what is the best advice you've received recently?
oh, the best advice I've received recently. Oh, that's a good question. The best advice I've really received was from a friend of mine, and she said, there are no failures, so just keep going.
That's great
Because
advice.
every step is a direction in every step is a step in the right direction. Yeah. So take small steps. Yeah, it was a long sentence she said to me. It was a long piece of advice. Yeah, small steps and there's no failures. That's what it was
Isn't that
really
great
like. Yeah. I
advice?
was yeah, I was in a position where something had just collapsed, and I'm just like, oh God, I can't go on. I've had enough. I'm going to stop. And it's just like, but what did you learn from that?
Yes.
You know? And there's always lessons that you're learning, even if it looks like a failure from the outside, something grows from that.
That's right. And it was someone who is really well esteemed that I can't remember the name of, please forgive me, but said something like to the effect of, it's not when obstacles come up on your journey, they're not in your way, they're on your way, which is
Oh, that's
relative to
good.
what you said about failure.
Yeah.
Nothing is a failure, it's just on your way. And sometimes
Yes,
it's not what we think we expect, is it? It's something else. It's right.
absolutely.
It's
Yeah,
absolutely right.
yeah.
Okay, great. Well, so what advice would you give to other aspiring female entrepreneurs?
I would say, we are females, and our creative energy and our creative power is very easy to access, but sometimes that masculinity, that structure, that stability is a little bit more difficult to access for us. So we need to focus on that as well as just enjoying that creative flow. So having the balance, finding that balance between expressing yourself and having that creative flow, but having that feeling more centered and grounded as well at the same time. So let's be the hurricane, but also let's be the center of the storm where there's stillness and there's quiet and there's peace.
Oh, that sounds absolutely beautiful. That's great advice. Thank you so much. So, next up, I'm going to ask you about your favorite tools and resources, but two different questions. The first one is about your favorite business tools and resources and why. So, just a couple of those, and then I've got another question for you on resources.
Okay, my favorite business tool has got to be Canva.
Yeah, I love
It's
Canva.
amazing. It's amazing. There's everything in there. You don't need to go anywhere if you've got to design something, or, sometimes I forget, how much is inside Canva, and it's really good to use the search bar. If there's anything that you need to do, just go to the search bar of Canva first and type it in there, especially with all the new AI stuff that's coming up. I just love Canva. It's just amazing.
Fantastic, love it. Okay, so my next question is, what tools do you recommend for emotional resilience and cravings? Because that's your specialty, right?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, for me, because it's with us all the time and it's free, it's accessible, and we can use it, it's got to be the breath. It's the breath, the breath, the breath all the way. Because that, when you start using your breath to ground yourself, to center yourself, to connect, and it can literally be done in 30 seconds to
Yes.
do that. When you are grounded, centered, and connect, your next decision, your next choice is going to be different from when you're scattered and stressed and anxious.
Mm.
So your breath collects you and brings you back into your center, but it gives you that time and space where you can start to listen to that inner voice. So breath is key.
I love it. Thank you so much. So tell me, Scarlett, are you currently running any promos, contests, or giveaways for our listeners and viewers?
Yes, if you would like to get in touch, I have a website, Her Sovereignty Project, and get in touch at the Her Sovereignty Project. And please mention Tula, your podcast. Mention Tula's podcast, and I will give you access to the community for 1 month for free.
Oh, isn't that great? Thank you so much. Thank you. Um, and my next question is, what would you say? Because the last one was about female entrepreneurs. So, what would you say to inspire other women in general?
I would say it's really great that we are givers. It's really great that we like to look out for other people all the time. Prioritize yourself first, because when you are in the right place, then you can be of best service to others.
Oh, that is such great advice. Thank you so much. So, my last question to you now, Scarlett, is how can we connect with you?
Oh, yes. So I did mention
I
earlier.
know you
Yeah.
did, but we need more detail. Like, what are you on? What social media? Everything.
Okay. Okay. So I just changed my Instagram and my Facebook to be the same thing. So that's really easy for
That's good.
everybody.
Yeah. So what is it?
Scarlett D is spelled Dee, Scarlett D official. So you can find me on Facebook and Instagram, Scarlett D official.
Fantastic. And your website again?
And my website is Her Sovereignty Project.
hersovereigntyproject.com.
Dot com.
Yeah,
Dot com. Yeah.
fantastic. So we've got Her Sovereignty Project for our listeners and viewers, and we have your Scarlett D spelled Scarle. Is it? It's double T, isn't it? Yeah,
Double T. Yes.
and Dee. So
Dee.
that's on
Official.
official. Don't forget official. Okay, that's on Instagram and Facebook. So
Yes.
reach out to Scarlett and mention the Goddess Show podcast and my name, Tula Doris, and you'll get this amazing free gift from Scarlett. Thank you so much, Scarlett. And
Thank you.
and thank you for joining our movement. Like, I think this is really great. We should all get together and collaborate and unite because
Absolutely.
together
Yeah.
we're so powerful. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's so true. Thank you so much for having me. This has been so lovely. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Scarlett. It's great to meet you. Wishing you amazing success. Bye for now. Thank you for tuning in to the Goddess Show podcast. We hope you've enjoyed it. And if you did, feel free to like, subscribe, share, and we look forward to seeing you next time.